Hi, this is Cecilia from Tarot by Cecilia, and this is your weekly tarot guidance for the week of February the 20th through the 26th of 2017. Well, here we are, all right? This week we have on the 25th, Mercury changing signs, okay? It will leave Aquarius where it is exalted and move on into Pisces. And on the 26th, we will have our annual new moon in Pisces. But this one will be a solar eclipse, and it will be the last of the Virgo Pisces series. So when I look at the cards pertaining to this eclipse, I keep seeing, there's a big ending in here somewhere. Like finally, it's kind of like a finally. We really want to put it that way. I urge you to check out the new moon solar eclipse audio, which will be on Patreon. It will go into greater detail regarding everything that's happening as a result of this eclipse, okay? But let's talk about this week. Now, it's not always easy to make these things be for just 1 week. We know that, right? But here we are. Change. Change is in the air. It has been since we had the full moon in Leo, which was also an eclipse on the 10th. But there's a lot of positivity coming from this. But at the same time, there is, and I can't help but think it's that worry. That is that other shoe going to drop? In some people's lives, it very well may. These are eclipses, and it's going to highlight these things. But I have some really, really positive feelings about this. Now, mind you, this eclipse comes at the tail end of the week. Doesn't mean it's not being felt as the week begins. Keep that in mind. But everywhere I look, I see that the moon is having an influence on how things are going, and some things are going very, very well. All right? New commitments are being formed. Wishes are being filled. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to wishes, some of you, not naming any names, but some of you keep repeating the same wishes over and over and over again. What I see here, it's time to get some new ones, okay? Some of them are just simply lacking in reality, all right? You're in a transitional phase of life, and by making a decision to go on your way and maybe abandon that dream. And I'm not one for saying to abandon dreams, but I think you should know by now, if it didn't happen, it probably won't. It's something that you haven't been realistic about. So we're at the end, like I said, with this cycle, and it is playing out here. But there is still that dreaminess. We have all this Pisces energy coming in. So even the conversation, with Mercury being in Pisces and the new moon in Pisces, and, I'm just saying, there is that, it's not, I don't want to call it a lack of reality because that wouldn't be fair, but it is that maybe the rose-colored glasses that Pisces likes to wear, okay? So you may have convinced yourself that in spite of, and one of the key words this month has been betrayal, that in spite of any betrayal, you can still, because I see here a refusal to budge. Come on, all right? If you know that you've discovered the truth about something, and it's like, okay, it's not happening. Oh, but I can make it happen. Oh, my. No. All right. There is a time and a place where certain people, certain situations need to be cut free in your life. And eclipses, they tend to highlight that. They often make it happen even when you weren't willing to. Okay? So you may want to try to get on board with whatever's going on as opposed to resisting it. This is, boy, not where I thought this was going when I started this reading, let me tell you. But here we are. However, you know, this energy that is available right now, or I should say present, you know, the endings that it's bringing about, okay, it's helping to eliminate the hard times. Like, oh my goodness, like finally freeing you from a very aggravating situation. Maybe you may have more than one, so don't get over exuberant about it, because the universe tends to deal with things the way it wants. But I'm telling you, this puts you in a position where you're now geared toward the future, where you can actually see that there can be a future. There's a big difference. Before, you were having a little bit of trouble with that, you know, with your vision and even trusting your intuition that things would even turn out okay. You know, you can have all the mantras that you want in life and keep on telling yourself things, but until you see some positive results from the universe, right, it's not always that easy to believe, even when you believe. So that's the thing. You're seeing results, and the eclipses have brought in so much change for such a short little month that just keeping up with it all is like a big wow. You know, when I look at it, I'm like, okay, there are new beginnings available everywhere. But I think getting to the part where you actually feel like you're in the future is a little ways off. It's that late May, early June kind of thing coming in. And there's a reason for that. You know, there's a few reasons for that. We already have Venus in shadow, okay? And there is a Venus audio available on Patreon to listen to that takes you all the way through the June the 6th time frame when it finally goes into Taurus. So there's a lot that's happening here, and everything is coming under the scrutiny of the universe. Your relationships, your beliefs, you know, your emotions, your clarity. I do feel that you're winding up with a lot more clarity if you're paying attention. Okay, if you're paying attention. I think while the moon was still in Aquarius, maybe especially right before the 25th, when it's getting to the tail end of Aquarius, before it enters Pisces on the 25th, you know, I think that clarity becomes even more apparent. Okay, the betrayal that's been in the universe becomes more apparent. Once again, I want to explain the word betrayal, okay, because too many people think it means that, you know, they're not going to wind up with that person that they just keep thinking they should be, that, you know, that they probably don't belong with. But anyway, it's not about, you know, finding out that someone cheated on you or whatever. It's more that sense of feeling cheated in life, because one of the things that I always say is that time is the most important thing we've been given. Okay, you don't get do-overs. So if you spend all of your time, you know, and I see the worry here, it's just like that, looking for that sign, wanting that to happen. Maybe it's not going to happen. Okay, maybe it's not. But what you need to see here is that taking charge of your own life is the best thing that you can do. All right? Clearly the best thing. And things are much different by March. All right? I really think that you're being guided toward something that's helping you tremendously toward the new beginning that you need. All right? There's a lot of emotional fulfillment that's available, but it comes through endings. There's some very powerful cards here that really are working on helping you with things, but I also think that you need to know when to, as Kenny Rogers would say, know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And it looks like there is a reason to fold. Okay, there might be something that there's also, you know, where you're holding on, because I see both. Okay, but don't hold where you shouldn't. And this is where the universe is asking you to have that little conversation with yourself. Okay, sometimes the honesty really needs to come from within. Are you clinging to an outmoded way of life that needs to be done and over? You see, some of this is not about everything that the universe sets up outwardly, which it is, but it's also inward. You have to be willing to go with what the universe is doing to get to that future. You see, you can't contradict yourself, all right? You can't say, I want this, like wishing for something. And you desire this future, but you resist what the universe is trying to show you in how to get to it, okay? So in other words, there is some holding yourself back that's here. And this feels like a very powerful week, and that when this solar eclipse comes up, and it's so positive, all right, it really truly is positive. It's going to ask you to do something, whether it's just come to the realization or whatever it is. The time has come. So there's something being shown to you this week. Somehow, some way, the universe is saying, not just take the blinders off because they're everywhere, where you just haven't been able to find the solution. Lord help me, I hope there's one here. That would be awesome. Oh my goodness. Because, your discontent with things is one thing, but the ability to step outside of the box and make a choice for happiness is a whole nother thing. All right. So in essence here, it helps you balance your life out. That's for sure. And it would appear as though you can finally power your way through to some positive choices. And it's one of those things where they may finally just suddenly appear. You know how things manifest, and we always say, well, maybe it was because the timing was right. That's how it feels, okay? There's a lot of abundance to be had, but for some reason, you hadn't been able to see it all along. That's part of the betrayal, but you're separating from that now, okay? Things want to improve with this new moon. Now, I know I mentioned it, I think last week when I was talking, in those separations, yes, there's loss, okay? Eclipses eclipse things from your life. There's no way around it. It'll happen no matter how hard, because I see that, oh, I can do this. I can make him want me. Maybe not. Maybe not. There's a lot here, more than meets the eye. But when you get to the other side of this, and we get into next week, which we'll start talking about March, you're really going to see, it's not just about putting yourself back on track. Those roads are opening up to lead you to the future. So you just need, a little bit of patience, yes. Not too, while change is good, you need balance. And that's important. There is, once again, I don't know what's going on in the world, but there's been an awful lot of betrayal. And the information comes fast and furious, all right? We're talking drastic change. Like I said, this eclipse is the final in the series. I think it's different as opposed to the one that we had, I think it was in 2014, that it was at 29 degrees Pisces. That was intense, okay? And this shows that, right at the moon, all of this, it's just, you're not even maybe going to be able to keep up with what you're hearing. It's like justice is being served. Just when you thought all of that was happening, all right, that feeling of, betrayal, being stabbed in the back and everything. The universe says, enough, okay? This has to stop. It has to stop. Something something extremely significant is coming. I'm telling you, it's solar. There is the possibility of a male figure being eclipsed somewhere in your life. Now, for many, and it saddens me to say it sometimes, especially this time of year, it can mean the loss of a loved one. And I'm going to right here extend my condolences. But I want to gear this reading toward what it's really about. And it's that bringing the finality to something that, it needs to stop. And the universe is going to stop it. And it's kind of like one of those, as we get past this week, all right? Happy days are here again, all right? Especially for those less fortunate. I think that they start to feel more blessed. And truly, I do like this. I think I even mentioned it a little bit last week about where you're finally coming into your new identity. Yeah. This cycle needed to complete itself. It's going out with a bang, my friends, okay? Going out with a bang. The past is the past. Closing the door on some of it. There's always little things that come up. But I'm telling you, this week, justice is being served in a very good way. And you're finally seeing things differently. All right? Through the victory that's been achieved. And that's good because some of you need to see things differently. All right? Here again, switching your focus. It's relationships. Okay. Eclipses highlight relationships. They do away with relationships, but they can also offer up some new beginnings. So it is up to you not to dwell on what is no more, what is no longer. It's to be carefree and go toward, It just, see, it's time. It's time, all right? You can't get to the future by clinging to the past. And this week is going to just take that and really help move things along. I absolutely love it. Karma is being served up, and it brings victories and change that are of the utmost necessity in the world, okay? Your world, where you can finally put together new plans, new teams to bring forth those plans. You may not be able to do all of this on your own, but what I'm seeing here is that you're finding the right people. You're bringing together your allies, okay? There's a regrouping that's taking place, and it is of a very strategic nature, okay? It kind of, not, I don't want to say playing both sides of the fence, but I think remaining balanced with both sides. Because what's happening here is, wow, perhaps totally unprecedented, and at least not in your lifetime. That's how amazing it is what is coming as a result of this week. I can't wait to see what it is, all right? And I think as you watch it play out in your life, as long as you are willing to look forward to the future, you're going to be amazed at what's in store for you. So I want to thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you here again next week. Take care.